She flipped the table before women had a seat at the table. She wasn't born powerful, but she became dangerous to injustice, unfairness, and gender disparity. A midwife, a mother, a political nightmare for colonial power, a force they didn't see coming. Ooh, girl. Today's Defiant Queen covers a story of a woman who changed the rules, and her name will echo in rooms, houses, schools for generations to come. Her name? Margaret Ekpo. Guys, before we dive into today's video, like this video, share to your friends, and keep the stories and comments pouring. You can also support the channel by subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss what we do here. If you've done that, let's get right into it. Before she became a political force, before she stood before men in power without fear, Madam Ekpo was first a wife, a mother, and an ordinary woman who encountered injustice personally. Born in 1914 in Creektown, present-day Cross River State, Madam Margaret grew up in a society that had clear expectations for women: obey, endure, remain unseen. Education for women was limited, ambition discouraged, but Madam Margaret was curious and determined. She lived when Nigeria itself was still learning its name. She grew up watching power move past women without stopping. Markets thrived on women's labor. Homes ran on their endurance, yet decisions were made in rooms where their voices were absent. She noticed, and once she noticed, she couldn't unsee it. Her awakening didn't come with applause, it came with frustration. As a young woman who followed her husband, Dr. John Udo Ekpo, to Aba, saw women traders crushed by colonial taxes and policies they had no hand in shaping. These women carried baskets on their heads and injustice on their backs. Madam Margaret listened to them. Then she did something radical. She spoke back. Her marriage exposed her even more deeply to the realities of colonial rule. When her husband faced discrimination and unfair treatment under the colonial system, Madam Margaret didn't watch quietly from the sidelines. So what began as a personal outrage grew into public resistance. As a wife and mother, she understood the stakes. Every unfair tax placed on women, every exploitative policy directly affected families, children's meals, school fees, survival. Her activism wasn't abstract. It was maternal, practical, urgent. You see, Madam Margaret trained as a midwife, a profession that placed her directly in the lives of women. In delivery rooms and homes, she listened. She saw pain, poverty, and systemic neglect up close. These weren't statistics to her, they were faces. And so she began organizing market women, traders who balanced baskets on their heads and households on their backs. She spoke in languages they understood, not political jargons. She taught them that their daily struggles were political issues, and boy, she was loud. Madam Margaret Ekpo wasn't loud for attention, though. She was loud because silence was expensive. Her home became a place of meetings. Her life became surveillance-worthy. She endured intimidation, resistance, and ridicule, not just from colonial authorities, but from a society uncomfortable with outspoken women. Yet she pressed on. Despite the demands of family life, she entered politics, a space designed to exclude her. In 1961, she became one of the first women elected into the Eastern House of Assembly. She carried into that chamber the experiences of childbirth rooms, marketplaces, and kitchen table conversations. She never divorced politics from her personal life. Her leadership was shaped by care. Her defiance was shaped by responsibility. In later years, when political tides shifted and her influence waned, she did not cling to power. She returned to private life quietly, content that the doors she forced open will remain open for other women. Madam Margaret Ekpo lived to see Nigeria change. She lived to see women vote, speak, lead. And in her long life, she proved this truth, that you don't have to abandon womanhood to be powerful. You don't have to reject family to change a nation. You don't have to be born fearless. You become fearless. She was not perfect. She was not spared pain, but she was unyielding. And you too can. Thank you for sticking around and watching today's video. If you got to this part, it means you appreciate the work we do here. So please take it a step further to like this video and leave a comment as we encourage healthy conversations. Drop your opinions and suggestions also. I'll be reading them. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified when a video like this drops again. I'll see you again. Cheers.